Gaffer, I think it's safe to say that the season hasn't started quite how you would have wanted it to, but the positive thing is there's still 40 games to go, plenty of time to put it right.
Yeah, of course there is. And I met somebody the other day that said to me, I'm worried. And I just said, well, what are you worried about, mate? And he said, well, like that, going down was his action. And I just said, well, at the end of the day we've had 6 games, and 95% of all that you worry about never happens. So there's a long way yet, there is a long way yet. And funny enough, I know when you've lost a game, sometimes supporters don't see or think back to the good bits of play in those particular games. We are getting nearer where we how we want to play. But and we've been in every game. There's not been a game, even this game. We lost the third one through trying to get the game back. Second one was a foul on our keeper. But the first one killed us because we'd have loved to have won 1-0. Everyone would have gone home a lot happier. So there is plenty of... We've had some good meetings with the lads this week. And they are beginning to grow into what we want, or grow into the system and how we're trying to play. But when you lose a game, then you've got to build that confidence up to do the same again and keep improving where we can, because it is a new group that has only played 6 games, and it's not a group that have played together that often either, because we've had our fair share of injuries now. It's a Thursday now, so I was as disappointed as anybody else to lose to Woking. Do you know what I mean? But especially as we went 1-0 up, and then we didn't finish the game like I like finishing a game when we're losing. So yeah, there's things to be done, but we'll do it. And rest assured, I feel exactly the same as all our loyal supporters that are disappointed when we lose a game at home. But I promise them we'll push and we'll shove and we'll make sure that the lads pick it all up pretty quick.
And obviously you've been in the game a long time, and you've described about these icebergs that you faced during seasons before, so it's not as if you haven't navigated these sort of things before. But even from a Torquay United perspective, you're able to draw some comfort on the fact that some of these lads actually hadn't been Torquay-fied in the way you'd liked them this time last season, and actually eventually they came through it, and they can actually pass that experience on to some of the players that joined in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you remember all the people that came, Amani, Connor, they didn't set the world alight when I first came, Reedy, Nemain, Whitfield, Joe, Joe wasn't in the team straight away. So they're all players that became good players. I know we've said that before, and that's just work because they were young players, and young players have to develop and they have to learn the game. That's the thing. And sometimes they learn different things in the under-23s than they do when they then come up to what I class as proper football. Where you've got somebody stopping you doing something. Under-23s tend to, you play and then we'll play a little bit and see who wins the game by walking the most. That's how I sort of describe it. That might be, a little bit wrong for some of the under-23s coaches and things, but that's how I see that game. And you have to teach them the game when you come up against your Wokins. That was a tough game with a ref. A different ref might have been a different situation there, because there was a lot of shenanigans, as I say, going on, and lots of dark arts going on, and you have to deal with that. And some of these lads, you can tell them about it, but until they've experienced it. I didn't think we were shrinking violets, by the way. I thought we competed well. We gave as good as we got. So that was a good lesson for me to know that they can fight as well, as in a football sense, fight. And but then it will, they fought more and better at the end of the game. And we just need more players that are going to be fit for us, and we're having to play people. I've said to you, I'm only being honest with everybody. of course. But you know, we've got a few that have not had a pre-season, for instance, and they're having to get fit during games because we played so many games, and Saturday and Monday didn't suit us as a group. You know, you can say, build it up and say, no, we'll be all right to the lads and you can do this, you can do that, but actually it shows, like at the end of the Woking game, for instance, where at the end of the Maidstone game, that was the same, you know, where they scored in the 88th minute. And then we got lads on the bench, like we will have a stronger bench when some of the other lads come through, like Jarvis and Asa and Dan Martin was on the bench. But are they ready to start yet? You know, they've been out a long time, so we've got to involve them, but we've got to do it in a way that doesn't re-injure them, if you like. So we got all those things, but listen, I'm not feeling sorry for myself or the club, and the lads ain't feeling sorry for themselves. You know, we've had our say, we've had our meeting. They all had to watch the game, do their individual stats rather than us tell them, and them half ignore it. Some might. So they were there doing my old school ticks and crosses of how many times they've give the ball away, how many times they kept it, how many shots they had, how many tackles they made, how many sprints they made, and we just got to keep upping all that, because that becomes then intensity, and that's what we need to get into this group of lads. And when it comes, we'll look a different team, and hopefully it comes sooner rather than later.
On Saturday you've got a trip to Roots Hall to face Southend. If you're looking for a positive omen, Gaffer, it was the 7th game of last season that you faced Southend and won 1-0. A similar result would be most welcome on Saturday.
Yeah, don't worry about it, don't we? I mean, to be fair, they, all teams in this league now, you have to do a lot of homework with, because you know they've got a different setup now as far as that. They've brought in players and they've been lucky enough to get a couple of good experienced players come in, and you know, we got to go there and respect them, but play our game and try and win the game, because we need a win. That's for sure. We need a win for the lads' confidence, the supporters' confidence, my confidence. You know, me and Dan will always be confident in what we're trying to do, but they've got to go out and do it. But then you've got an opposition that's trying to stop you, of course, and then we got to try and stop their game, because they do like to play a bit, you know, not a bit, a lot. They like to, you know, pass it around, and that's the way they play. So you know, you've got to be careful that you don't let a team like that dictate the play.